we're on, because it's an open meeting. You're gonna need it, Dee. You're gonna start. Oh no, he's gonna start out. I'll hold your thing.
We are live over here on KEXU Radio live feed. Can you hear me? Over.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so let me set it up. That way we'll broadcast it all day.
Wait, what was that? Can you repeat?
Okay, so you should give Lever the mic. A second more.
You ready?
What you got, folks?
Are you live? Should we run over there?
No, he's just got to set up the online feed, so.
I got it. Let me just put it on the so it could be on the internet too. Hold on.
Copy that. I never always know what to focus on.
We'll get more time.
3 minutes. 5 minutes.
To talk about your issue.
Okay, now we're broadcasting here.
Ha ha ha! I'm the Black Cripple. Welcome y'all. Welcome to Poor Magazine. Been around here for 20 something years. Started mother and daughter team, Mama D and Tiny. So Poor Magazine is a non-profit organization, but it's more than a non-profit organization. It's a movement. Yeah. To create our own answers around poverty and to hold the politicians to their word. Welcome to Poor Magazine, people.
And the question I'm here to ask is, what is homefulness? The answer. Homefulness serves many purposes. It is a patch of land in the middle of the slums of East Oakland. But besides all that, it is a radio station. It is a library, a free library at that. It is also an event space. It is a meeting space. It is a media production lab. It is a school. It is a garden. It is a mini barnyard where we have our chickens and goats. But more importantly, it is also a housing space. And we have 4 townhouses that will be opening maybe later this year or next winter. But in short, it is our poor people's solution to eviction, homelessness, and displacement.
Yeah, what's up? This PNN, not CNN, people. Yeah, we here on this liberated piece of Lashana Ohlone land, upon whose, people's land we're standing. First peoples who suffered the first form of what we affectionately call gentrification. I use a different thing, but we got the FCC license. What? Us ghetto scholars got a little bit of government crumb. How about that? We reported live and direct as truth tellers, poverty scholars, plantation prison scholars, unhoused nation scholars, and indigenous peoples, telling our stories tonight at what we call Poor People's Community Newzroom. What is that? That's the Poor People's Editorial Board. So we the folks who were impacted first and worst by these legislations like the BID, shout out to all of our folks in the SCO who now have a new law that makes it illegal to be poor while sitting, standing, walking, living, or being while houseless in America. Anyway, yeah. So we tell that truth in Frisco and the 415. And we just had it on our Poor People's Revolutionary News Hour. Shout out to Paul Bowden, Western Regional Advocacy Project, and the other liberators down at Serve the People and Google as well, down at the Googlelandia who have been fighting Google. Shout out to all of our listeners and viewers who, like us, are fighting these legislations every day. So in Newsroom, us, the poor people, the impacted, the bordered, the criminalized, are the ones who tell our stories because we're the ones impacted first and worst. So tonight we have a powerful news circle, and what we're going to be doing first of all is introducing ourselves to something we saw, the bio news, which means even if it's your first time in the news hour, an invitation to all the people watching, come by here to the small piece of Mama Earth at 8032 Black Arthur on the first Tuesday of every month for a healthy meal and some loving words. But anyway, that said, we'll all introduce ourselves with our bio news. And then we become part of the Poor People's Editorial News Service. So we decide what goes out on the channels that you're watching right now. See how that goes? There's no wizard behind the curtain. There's no corporation involved in the making of this truth. Okay, so sit back and relax, as my brother Muteado says, because the news is about to come at you. So I'm going to give the mic to one of our new sisters in the circle to introduce ourselves. It's one line about who you are, where you from, and what is your struggle. And then we'll keep it moving. 60 seconds.
Hello, my name is Angel Hart. I'm here from Vallejo. I've been supporting the West Berkeley Shell Mounds, Gorite, and I'm here on behalf of Sacred Site Protection and Rights of Indigenous Tribes. My struggle is poverty, and I'm keeping it real.
Oh.
This Muteado. We didn't cross the border crossed us. Muteado, silencio presente y me alegro. Mis palabras son mis balas, mi lápiz es mi arma. Muteado, silencio, my words are my bullets. My pen is my gun, so sit back and relax, because we're going to drive by your minds. I'm Muteado Silencio. I'm a migrant from Michoacán, Mexico. I migrated to the U.S. with my family when I was about 5 or 6 years old. Right there through Tijuana. You know, back in the 90s when it was a little bit easier. There was not much, so much police state at the border. And just thinking about our people, our undocumented people, Central American people, and all the folks, the migrant people throughout the world, migrants who are migrating from Africa to Europe, all of our people who are migrating constantly, looking for a better way of life, and just hearing and reading a little bit that this racist president, this some kind of state of a union or state of a disunion, and so yeah, just happy to be here doing what we're doing and doing the media, doing the radio by any means necessary, step by step, and yes, happy and excited to be here.
I'm Joey Villarreal, ex-torture survivor. Met Poor Magazine when I was in the torture chamber, Pelican Bay Shoe, and the state had me for a decade in a windowless cell, and then I met Poor Magazine, and they began to assist with bringing awareness to what was occurring to us in the torture center, and from that point on, I stood in contact with Poor. I was released from prison, and I linked up with Poor Magazine, and then I'm here now and continuing to struggle outside the smaller prison walls.
Deep and for real.
Name is Diallo from Berkeley. Been helping out my comrades. Sad to see everybody leave as they start to hike up the rents around the Bay Area. Just trying to help out community with whatever I can and whatever I can. Power to the people.
All right, for other people.
I'm D, and I live here in Homefulness.
You're the powerful poet, man. Come on now, don't be too humble, bro.
I know you can't get enough of the sexy black clipper.
Oh, Libra,
Alright.
Libra got the mic again.
I'm gonna take advantage of the whole 1 minute. 新年快乐! Today is a special day for me because it's the first day of the first year.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Happy New Year,
I'm
man.
so glad I'm here to spend first day. It took me more than 60 years to find people walk with me on this path. And we're all here just walking and searching and learn to live. So I am here, I'm so glad. This is my relative friends, dear spiritual friends, are walking with me in the first day of the first year.
Let's do it.
And I have to give credit to Oakland because I coming here 1980, go to school, East Mall. And now because without this sister here, I have yet to visit East Mall because I came here, so I revisited East Mall. That so-called Western civilization started with me with East Mall.
Yeah, man.
And again, I want to give a credit to Oakland. Oakland Museum taught me before the European coming, the whole world, they may have some fight, but they fight like a brotherly fight and they leave, they get well, they try. But once you introduce private property, that's all evil started, including borders,
Thank you.
wars,
Thank you.
this or that.
Capitalism.
It's the evil of all evil
Yeah.
is the private ownership.
That's right.
What made you think that you can own things?
Thank
First
you.
of all,
Thank you.
this is Mother Earth. We're all born to be wonders.
Oh.
And we are glad. I'm glad. Let's celebrate. Today is a good day. I have so many brothers and sisters who walk with me the first day. I am grateful.
Oh.
But let's grateful talking about this. Tear down all the boundaries.
Yes.
Because it's all artificial crap.
All right.
It doesn't naturally belong to our natural world, our natural heart.
That's right.
Over a minute, sorry.
The anti-social workers and case manglers call me crazy, lazy, dumb, and a bum. Because my knowledge don't come from the institution. Yeah, I'm a poverty scholar. That houseless mama, that houseless daughter. All the people you don't want to see, never want to be. Look away from me. What you gonna do? Arrest me? We're in your city. So I want to call in my mama right now. For without whom there be no me. I just want to call her in because I know that she's crying. She's crying for Mama Earth. She's crying for all the mamas on the street, for all the mama solteras like she was with me. When we were sleeping in bus benches, doorways, park benches, shelter beds we were predated on, and when we got enough money together, even apartments with scam lords who would evict us as quick as look at us. So I want to call my mama in because this is a big time. It's very powerful that it's Lunar New Year today, Year of the Pig, because that was my mama's year. And so I feel like this is her other birthday.
All right.
And God knows it's a Taurus and a bull and a pig. She was everything stubborn. But I think that's partly what kept her alive. It kept her laughing. And like she said, if we can't laugh at this ish, how are we even going to make it? Because sometimes the pain just gets too deep. But we've gotten in this year, in this year of the pig, in my mama's birth year, in this powerful year of abundance, I hear tell from my Chinese relatives that this is the year of poverty scholarship. The textbook's coming out. I don't think there's any accidents there. And we're about to pop off at a big event on City Lights. For those of you watching, we'll be doing a PSA all night. But come out to hear the words, the truth, the prayer, to see the art of people like Joy Villarreal, to see the art of Asian Robles, of Uncle Al Robles, the beautiful words of Dee Allen and Muteado Silencio and Leroy, and so many of us who are the ones who get silenced, stepped on, left out, kept out, and that's not going to happen anymore. What we say, hey, Howard Zinn, Paulo Freire, make some space on that bench, because the population's bringing the popular education. Can I get a witness? Whoop, whoop. Right? So, thank you for that, everybody. And we're going to ask, first of all, just a little housekeeping in terms of how tonight happens. Again, this is the Poor People's Editorial Board. We're going to have a couple of our sisters still on their way, but we ask if anybody has fresh news. And even if it's your first time, we ask you to present a little bit about what you're doing. We ask a presentation about 3 to 4 minutes, and then we open it up to questions, and then we as a circle decide, is it a Poor Magazine story? And then Ashley, another PSA, at 8 o'clock we'll be switching over to the amazing Free Aslan with Joey Villarreal. So we're going to be turning the mic over to him, so we're going to do a lot in 40 minutes. So who's got fresh news? Leroy and Moot and Angel Heart, and I know that we have a special guest too of Hanson. So why don't we turn it to Moot, just in case, because he might have the engineer problem and have to change up. And then he'll present, and like we said, we'll bring it out to the meeting.
Okay.
He has to get his jacket in, because
Yeah, thank you.
in Hollywood they say,
you
only
gotta
good as
look
you look.
But Mama dear, you gotta look good.
Yep, always.
Cause if not, it ain't good.
That's right. That's
But
right.
just it's not so much of a story, but more of a sharing, an invitation too. That maybe by the middle of this month, February, or the end of it, or the beginning of March, just to put it out there. I know there's still some time, but time flies. As one of the teachers in the Collins Academy, one of the classes that I teach is gardening, permaculture, and the kids and ourselves thought it would be a good idea to have like a spring plant your seeds day, but we wanna focus. A lot of our folks live in SRO, small little studios, apartments. Sometimes we don't even got gardens. And so we, as poverty folks, have been working in gardening and thinking about people who live in small apartments. So they got these things that they sell. There's like little greenhouses that you can put seeds. And if you live in an apartment, you can put it by your window shield. What do they call that? The window sill. And literally, because of the heat, your seeds germinate, so herbs. And again, just because a lot of our folks don't have the access of land, and we as in the young folks do believe that there's some kind of connection and healing that a lot of our poverty folks don't get to interact. And so we want to invite everybody, you guys, and hoping that you guys can come and support. We're trying to find a date. We'll be, towards the end of February with the kids and have it here outside. Do some planting, show, share some of those stuff, even give some of those little greenhouses away for the people who actually live in apartments and don't have access to any kind of land, or any kind of green where you can even plant, something. Since spring is around the corner.
Okay, so this is a Poor Magazine event, not so much a story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any
People
comments
got
or
ideas,
questions
people got
for?
ideas of what should we do?
Any comments or questions for Maestro Muteado?
Thinking about maybe doing
We got a question from Joey. Go ahead.
So I got a question. So how much does it cost to make one of the planters, like material?
Well,
In San Francisco, it probably costs $2,000.
we have ghetto planters here before. We actually recycle wood. It was some beat up wood, and so we just recycle. And then at the end of the day, the only stuff that we spend was getting organic compost, because we wanted to make sure that we were going to like planting our seeds in something that if you're going to eat it, you're comfortable eating it. The beautiful thing too about your homefulness, back then, this is about 4 or 5 years ago, when we first, started working on homefulness project. One of our friends, her dad worked at some kind of city job where he was a tester. He would test soil, and they'll come and test your soil, see if there's any lead, if there's any other toxic stuff that you might want to get away from. Back in the days, they use a lot of paint they had lead in it, and so that's why you never want to plant a garden box next to old fans that might have a lead paint on it. And then also we learned, which I seen in some of these projects, which is I don't know, don't want to come out like arrogant, like I know what I'm talking about, but there were some folks who were building planter box with pressure treated, and people don't know that pressure treated has arsenic in it. That's what they have. The arsenic is a poison. It's known to.
Building it though.
I see in different projects. People building these stuff.
Supporters building this stuff.
No, people probably didn't know about that kind of wood. Thinking they're gonna save some money because it's cheap. Yeah, but just that, even letting people know the basic stuff like that. It does take a lot of money. Then we like Jen said, maybe we could do a small box because I know we're under construction.
Please.
For something that we could.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, next, beautiful. I want to give love to Motiado because he's hella humble, but he does the permaculture class and the decolonized art class at Decolonized Academy. School. For poor folks, for poor children, for folks coming out of poverty and homelessness.
We're gonna do it big this time.
That's what's up.
Big garden.
That's what's up. That's how we do it. And for folks listening also to know this, that anything we grow in our community garden actually belongs to the community on Black Arthur. Like literally, there's no fences, there's no enclosures. Elders come up and pick out the chard and pick out the lettuce and the carrots, and then they have fresh food for their home. Like we all know that actual GMO-free vegetables and fruit is hella expensive and not something we can get when we on the government dough crumbs, right?
Right.
And so that's real, and it's over a whole paycheck and blah, blah, blah. So we have the Poor People's Freedom Farm. We give free food out. Shout out to Fat Beats because they give us a box of fruit every week. We give that. That's how Dee and myself and Mute gets free fruit, and other people in the neighborhood. We also have the Poor People's Organic Bakery. These are all things that happen at the Sliding Scale Cafe every Thursday right here on this land. Because why? Poor people came up with it. And guess what? We got solutions to solve our own problems. What?
No grant.
Right? So let me turn it over to Mr. Leroy Moore.
All right. So, can you imagine, being an artist and you can't say a word? If you say a word, the government will take you in. This is happening in Uganda right now. Artists are just taken into jail because of their songs, because of their music, and they can't travel because the government is too worried about what they say. So, Uganda's hip hop chapter has done a video about this. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show it on hip hop radio and Corbin magazine. But yeah, Ronnie in Uganda, he's kicking ass with the hip hop chapter there. They did a protest last year, raised funds for a wheelchair for a single father. And now they're really trying to protest the backlash on artists in Uganda. As a matter of fact, Ronnie having a lot of trouble trying to get his visa because he wants to come here for the hip-hop African tour that we're doing in July. He says it's a really hard time to get his visa. So anyway, so he did a video, and I'm gonna, show it here on Four Magazine and hopefully, on the radio. So that's what's going on.
Any questions for Leroy? We good? Is it a Poor Magazine story? Yes. All right, beautiful. We're gonna pass it to Angel Heart. I think she had something.
Hi, once again, I'm Angel Hart, and I'm here on behalf of Sacred Sites Protection and Rights of Indigenous Tribes. Part of the work that the organization does is Native American mascot decolonization in public schools. That's my area of expertise, thanks to Norman Woundini Diocampo and Kim Diocampo of the Tuolumne Miwok Nation. But so we've been addressing these mascots in our community for about the past 5 years. We've been able to decolonize 4, one in Contra Costa County, 2 in Solano County, 1 in Napa County, and right now we're working in Solano County at the Fairfield-Sassoon Unified School District. The organization originally addressed them in October of 2018, and since then the governing board of the district has decided that they want to create a mascot committee. Because they can't just remove the mascot. They have to go through all of their, things for the community that they say they're doing, but it's all red tape. So the committee will be comprised of, they say Native Americans, but we'll see. Alumni students, staff, Native Americans, and community members. And so we've been assured that our organization will be a part of that, but we'll see, because I don't believe anything until it's actually happening. Part of what we'll be doing on that committee is providing an educational component so that everyone can be able to get the information that they need to make an informed decision. That will come to a point to where the committee will make a recommendation to the board. The board will then put that on the agenda as an action item and vote on whether or not they're going to keep or remove the mascot, which is Indians, and it's been in place for over 100 years. So we're still fighting these images of institutionalized racism, and they're done a poll or a survey, opinion survey in the community as to how people feel about the term Indian being used for a mascot. I don't think that they realize that term is not the correct thing. Indigenous peoples aren't terms, they're hundreds of nations. These are cultures, living cultures that they have in place. And so we advised against the use of that poll, but they went ahead and did it anyway. So I don't know what to say about that, but we're gonna keep working on that. Kim Diocampo will be doing a presentation of her own and how mascots relate to California Indians.
Wow.
So we'll be keeping you posted. The next board meeting is this month, February the 21st. It's a Thursday. It starts at 6 p.m. It is on Hilborn Road, 2430 Hilborn Road in Fairfield. If anybody wants to come and support that, our website is www.ssprit.wordpress.com, and we have a Facebook page, SaveSacredSites.1, and check it out. We appreciate everyone's support, because the preliminary opinion poll will be online until the 9th, and then the district will be pulling it.
Okay, we have one question from Mood, and I have a question too. Go ahead, give him the mic.
Just that it's kind of related. I was listening today in the morning, on Democracy Now, about the governor from Virginia. That they found some photos when he was in college, and he's in blackface, and then he's there's someone in the Ku Klux Klan outfit.
Right.
And then first he came out and apologized. I'm just talking about how this is so relevant. And then this is the governor and also the president. But he came out, apologized for the photo, and then the next day he actually was denouncing and saying, no, actually it wasn't me on the photo. So it was a different photo. I thought it was the photo that I was in. And then he came out saying something about, yes, I did blackface before. One time at a contest, I impersonated Michael Jackson, and which is like still criticism, inconsiderate and disrespectful. And he was at a press conference and saying all this, and then one of the reporters says, "Oh yeah, are you serious about that? Can you do the moonwalk?" And this idiot is looking for a place to do the moonwalk until the wife says, "That's inappropriate, John."
Exactly.
He was going to do the moonwalk right there at the press conference. That's how racist and sensitive and these white from Mississippi governors
Well, it's been very normalized. Blackface, as we already know, is racist. It shouldn't happen. And so, why is red face okay? Why is it okay to use First Nations peoples as their mascot or their image? So I don't think that people understand the correlation. Should the school have any other mascot besides a Native American one, whether it be Native culture, Jewish culture, Chinese culture? I don't think we'd be having any problem, opinion poll surveys, or anything going on.
Right.
But because it's Native American and because it's been going on for such a long time with this institutionalized racism, it's been so normalized that people actually believe what they're saying when they say they're honoring us and this is their tradition.
That's
And
right.
who are we to come into their district
Right.
as outsiders to
Right.
tell them what to do? But I need to remind them that First Nations peoples are not outsiders on their
Thank
own
you.
land.
Oh. Any other comments, Joey?
Yeah, I wanted to comment on that and what you both said. And, you know, like what Mutiado said, that this governor was in blackface, so he's basically acting like a fake black mascot.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, that's basically what he was. He was acting like a black mascot.
That's
Now,
right.
the thing is, isn't it crazy that we have to go to the same people, because now these people are governors, board of directors, or supervisors, or
Right.
city council, and these are the people
Right.
who played black and brown and red mascots in college,
That's right.
and this is how they were raised, and their families raised them, and yet we have to go to them to say, we don't want you using mascots to the same people who use mascots. And but and then this is a small microcosm of how we have to approach any laws in the U.S. where we have to go to them to change the laws that
Exactly.
they
you.
themselves create and benefit from. And so, you know, and this is how ridiculous
Thank
the legal system is. But, you know, it's one form that we have to struggle with. I understand that. It's crazy.
Right.
You know?
Beautiful point.
Just to add comment to that, AB 30 is the California Racial Mascots Act, and some of the language in there, what specifically for the R word, but some of the language in there is really broad. It doesn't really fully address the law and funding that goes to the state to all public schools, and so Spirit, our organization, is currently working with someone to try to modify the language to AB 30 to include all Native American mascots. We're in the infancy stages of that, so it's going to take some time, but I definitely hear you and what you're saying about addressing the very people that have put these mascots into place, and that includes school board members.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
I just have a quick question. You can keep the mic.
Okay.
Just for viewers, because we have international viewers.
Yes.
If you can deconstruct, you know, what even a mascot is. I mean, that's a very Americlan thing. So
Well, a mascot
just so
is
they know.
an image or a caricature, a cartoon, sometimes a person, people, or a culture that is used as an image of pride for a school, a sports team, or an organization, almost like a logo or branding. That's what a mascot is.
Okay.
And these were put into place at a time when indigenous people couldn't even vote on their own land. They
Right.
couldn't even practice their own religion until 1978. And so to say that these images are somehow an honor is truly insulting.
Oh, everybody with it is a Poor Magazine story. Is it something we're on? Yes. All power, all love for the spirit. All love to Kim Campo and Angel Heart. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna turn it over to Hanson, who is another powerful
With the
poverty
Hanson
scholar.
report.
Yes, and
The
he's
Hanson
gonna talk about
report.
all the
Well,
beautiful work he's doing.
By the way, handsome actually basically means the son of a Han. Han Chinese.
Ah,
So in Chinese character, I'm a little baby of a Han culture.
And what is
So
Han?
handsome. Han is 99% of the Chinese in China land is a Han nationality. You know, of course, there's some Muslim, there's Vietnamese, there's a Thai, there's a fair amount of Korean folks, and of course Tibetan, not part of China, but you know there's Turkish stock Chinese that occupy Northwest, grand place that very different culture than us. In China, historically, what this so-called the Great Wall, they tried to keep the Han Chinese within itself. So without the weapon introduced, actually, this brief history is quite good. Is the Chinese usually conquer other ones because China being controlled by Manchuria for 300 some years, and by the Genghis Khan, Qing, it was about 500 years. What they usually do is they don't fight, but they, for 300 or 500 years, they culturally observe them and then make them become part of the Chinese. You know, there's another way to conquer, sort of speaking, right? So, just piece of history, just piece of history, because they do not, you know, they do not using absolute weapon is a way to conquer lands. But you know, conquer land, that's really very dirty business. So, you know, I want to come back. I took a 3-time trip to Standing Rock, and now I realize in order to really protect Mother Earth, John Trudell is my principal writing constitutions. And John Trudell says, the Mother Earth, how we can say we own Mother Earth and sell Mother Earth. So it just goes back. This evil of all evil is private ownership. And so from now on, I take no leadership on male, because female Mother Earth deserve in my rest of my life of honor to be my leader. They can tell me, because they know how to take care of Mother Earth, because they are mother. And so I once again, I'm thinking, I feel I'm in the right place because there is lots of right direction, right thinking, and folks are really honor the Mother Earth, and folks are really think, you know, this voting for own things, it's a very self-destructive, dark, spinning things, and just need to be hop out. And to me, voting is like, you ask me to go to a shopping mall, I haven't even needed to buy anything, and then guilty written to say, well, I'm already wandering 2 years, so I have to buy something. It's like, why not? I need to find me a candidate before I go to register myself. I haven't yet to find a candidate for me to vote. How the hell I want to be registered, become a shopping mall shopper? There's nothing for me to buy. Okay?
Yeah,
I'm not holding my nose to vote this guy and that guy because they're all fucking evil.
That's right.
So don't drive people to vote. I'm not going to shopping mall. If there's something I want to buy, I need to study this something is worth to buy first.
That's right.
I yet to find it. So therefore, I yet to raise my hand, become a voting citizen. I'm not registered because I haven't yet to find. Please show me there's somebody I'm worth to vote. And I register myself.
That's right.
But in the meantime, I'm going with issues.
Makes sense.
There's an issue of protecting Mother Earth.
That's right.
There's an issue of somebody burning, burning the building that's full of chemical things. And there's an issue of, the land to be trashed by bill everywhere.
That's right.
And the air quality is my passion in my rest few years. I really think there's a fire of the California, this big fire, especially the modern fire. We have so much so-called rainy day money, whether the state or the city, but they deliberately don't set standard for outdoor air. So therefore, you can choke all you want, you can inhale all the dangerous, stuff get sick
That's right.
because there's no standard. So they don't have to call emergency. So the kids goes to hospital or anything. See, the Richmond mayor did a wonderful job because the Chevron released something that has a standard. You reach something above, you gotta pay, and they gets to go to hospital. And this governor, because he deliberately don't set standard, you can burn all you want, and you still have to get sick, and nobody can need to be paid for it because there's no standard. So it's time to set standard so the people will not be unnecessarily being cooked and breathing so many harmful things.
So tell us, in the radio show that you're gonna possibly do, what's gonna be your focus? China poverty or air quality or all the above?
I think, as a construction profession, I've been in the construction for 30, I've been an electrician before I reached 20 years old. So I really believe if you want to address something, you need to set a standard. Hey, not up to code, electrical, so give me some money, I'll fix it to code. So that's what it's all about, right? So if you want to protect the people who have a health air, then set a standard. We badmouth China for decades because they pollute themselves because guess what? We're shipping garbage to them and then they pollute themselves. Now we're complaining they don't buy our garbage anymore. It's like, what? You poisoned them? Now they realize that was a poison, they don't want it. Now we complain to them again and say, hey, listen to us, don't buy our garbage anymore. So they're not friendly anymore. They don't buy our garbage. Yeah, you want to. Anyway, China is also my passion because you can take it. You can take me out of China, but you can't take a Chinese out of me. So I'm still Chinese. Right? So I'm just speaking English. I'm still Chinese. Anyway.
Good one. Love that.
So that will be thing. But I really think honor the earth, get out some standard, do the right thing to protect the human being and live on the earth, and can't be part of the earth like an animal, have a right. We're animals, we have a right, and the other animal have a right too. So protect us and don't burn this carcinogen stuff that, you have the doctor at the KPFA literally says, this children and elderly in those states, really, the city should pay them to fly out of here because they will shorten their life, especially the breathe sickness.
Asthma,
Yeah. So, but the thing is, the governor is so wise. He do not set standard, so he's not liable. Right? Workman's comp, but that's what it's for. If the air is too bad, you should shut down the thing and people go home. But because there's no standard. Because inside there's all the standard. Indoor, air conditioning, we have standards. If you messed up, you not pass the air conditioning contractor, you don't get paid until you get the standard air circulation, how many percent of air are circulated per hour. There's a standard, we have a specification written into that. But although there's no standard.
Okay, so let me ask, does anybody have any questions? I do, for one. First of all, we've heard all these stories about, some of the places in China having some of the worst air in the world. So can you please speak on that?
Yes, actually, it's a pretty good story. The Chinese government don't want to tell anyone that we have a dirty air, just like all government, by the way. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
But the other governments sometimes wanted to sneak around. So American consulate in the Beijing of American consulate, they put a testing lab in their compound, and they put on the website to say what's the air quality. From there on, China had a standard, 2.5 micro per air per particle. So, by the way, the time well, you can Google it. It really started from Beijing and Chinese American consulate started this shit. But now put the Chinese government into, okay, now it's time to, because the consulate let everyone know the website, so they all know, so they do something about it, including not buy American garbage, right? No, you show my dirty underwear, so I'm not buying your dirty underwear no more. So going back, the 2 weeks of burning of paradise, Sacramento was 380. Which
Particulates, by the way.
yeah, and
Which is
I said the
supposedly
San Francisco.
uninhabitable.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it's supposed to be 50, okay? 50 is normal. Every other one, you should close the window and the sick people should flying out.
We say it in decolonize. Yep.
Yeah, so speaking about, now you have a standard, Sacramento, I did not know, they didn't report to me Paradise, how worse they are. There will be, at those time in Shanghai, at that very day, Shanghai is something like 100 or 120.
Wow.
So in those 3 weeks, we should have fly to Shanghai to escape the poisonous in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So, everything is relative,
No,
right? Now
I'm glad you
it's
brought that
equal.
up. Yeah, there you go.
Because the dirty air has no boundaries, man.
Right.
There's no amount of wall you can build can block that.
Thank you. All right.
So that's about environment and China all together.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Here's the report.
Have the report. So stay tuned because this senor is going to be doing a radio show on KEXU 96.1 FM. So I want to ask if any last news is in the room. Actually, I wanted to close tonight with actually a poem. I'm gonna put D on the spot because we're trying to promote our big day. It's gonna happen on Sunday. On Sunday.
While you wait, maybe speaking about poetry, this sister did a fantastic poetry reading in this bourgeois idea of night. And I almost want to jump in because I have a poetry. And there's a poem from China. He wrote the poetry, make me thinking I should be a poet for the rest of my life. Here's the poem, okay? Please listen.
Okay, go ahead.
Very simple. He says, poplar trees, you cut off my arm, I grow eyes. Sisters and brothers, we grow, this society cut off our arm and legs and soul for so many years. And we have grown so many eyes to watch them. Time to protect our baby trees.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
We have enough eyes, we have learned enough. We'll continue watching. We continue to tell people the bloody arm chopping movement, but we need to raise up to protect the baby trees.
That's right.
Cutting our arm time is over.
There you go. Yes, I love that, Hanson. That's beautiful.
That's a poetry
beautiful.
from Gu Cheng.
Hold on, that's beautiful. I'm gonna ask Dee to hold on 1 second and give your slam bio while I get the book. We're gonna do a little shameless plug for the important book that's about to drop on Sunday before we close out tonight. And here it is. Now, first of all, for viewers and listeners, you're listening to Poor People's Revolutionary Radio and TV right now on KEXU 96.1 FM. Come out, come in to 261 Broadway this Sunday, February 10th at 5 p.m. There'll be danza, there'll be prayer, there'll be music, there'll be love, because that's how we do it as Poverty Scholars. We're actually doing real stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Sunday
This Sunday.
for this book.
Yes, for this
Yes.
book.
Yes.
Can I buy one so I can
Yes,
learn
you
something?
may. But before we're gonna
Okay.
after the show. So let's gonna
6
close
minutes.
out hearing this beautiful poem, because this is just one of the amazing poetry scholarship and poets work that's in this amazing Poor People's Textbook.
All right.
All right.
Sounds like you're trying to sell something.
Hey, shameless plug for those of you
21
listening.
years, you better sell it.
Heck yeah.
There we go.
It's
Quiet
called
on the set.
preparation.
Wait.
All
Quiet.
right.
He's talking.
Okay, go ahead.
From pages 294 to 296 of Poverty Scholarship. This is called Beyond. 3 homes stand amidst this lush garden so far, 2 in back, 1 in front. Soon to be 7, with faux straw-bale dwellings added to the liberated land. All that changed, no thanks to the city of Oakland. A cafe, a library, a radio station, a media center where the destitute, evicted, displaced, gentrified out can write their own tales from their own standpoint. Reaching digital streets live on Wi-Fi. A school to decolonize poor children from the ways of genocide masters and relearn ancestors' knowledge, thought to be lost to history. A barnyard with livestock supplying families' needs. Milk and cheese from goats, eggs from chickens. None of these are utopian dreams. They're what this lush garden produces every day. Aside from vegetables and vines scaling up the chain-link steel fence. All of these began with a dream. Somewhere in 1990s Oakland, a self-determination vision was discussed between mother and daughter inside of a parked car they both slept in. Their ambition was a solution to extreme poverty. Their words contain an alternative to sleeping in cars, owning scraps of lives, living nowhere, deemed undesirable to the eyes. From homelessness to homefulness. Flash forward 2012, when the right place was found, the smothering asphalt covering the land had to be broken, lifted, hauled away. The dream had to live beyond 2 homeless females. The dust had long cleared, the construction tools long in storage, the asphalt long removed, the land long mended, seeded, planted, and flourishing still. Hopefulness means everyone has a home, even plants and animals. It also means there's nothing this one-way system can't offer us that we couldn't teach, build, or farm ourselves. Each passing day, each new project on this land are overtures, movements conducted from Oakland's deep east, long blighted on purpose toward lives without undue hardship. Beyond just ideas, movements toward the growing green future beyond this lush garden and the comfortable lie of capitalism. And that was called Beyond.
Whoa! Whoa!
For D. Garcia, 1945 to 2006. Rest in peace. This poem is also featured in my new book, Skeletal Black, Poems from Beneath the Poverty Line.
And I want to give a plug for all the books coming out this Sunday, because it isn't just a big, beautiful book. It's Skeleton Black, it's Issue Me Stranger Danger, it's Dear God by PNNKEXU, it's The Making of Auntie by Auntie Frances, and last but definitely not least, Mass Driver, and Black Crip graphic novel, which although it's not done, it'll be done.
Come swing by and pick up a copy of at least one of these books, including Poverty
We're
Scholarship.
gonna close out. You're listening to Poor People's Revolutionary Radio and TV, and this is Community Newzroom. We out. We're gonna close with a prayer though. Once we turn off the